Hello, and welcome into another episode of Let Your Geek Flag Fly podcast. I am Steven, and with me, as always, is my co-host Wilder. How you doing, Wilder?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing, Steven?
I'm doing well. Looks like you dressed up as Batgirl today.
I didn't want to put on
Uh,
a whole costume, so I was like, hey, look, I have a mask. I can put that on, and a shirt, and a mug.
All right, Batman it is. I, uh, I of course am rocking Superman.
Batman
Got
versus
my
Superman.
Superman necklace as always on, my Superman ring, and of course, Superman is constantly surrounded by me. Superman is my favorite character in the DC universe, as well as majority of the other universes. In case you guys have not telled, I can speak proper English this morning.
English
In
is
case
hard.
you guys, yeah, occasionally, yeah. In case you guys can't tell, we are doing our DC episode today, and there's a lot going on in the DC universe that we'd like to talk about. Um, how are you feeling, by the way?
What do you mean? Was something bad? I'm good.
No, nothing bad. It's just banter back and forth of, you
Oh,
know,
the way you said it made it sound like I was supposed to remember something that happened that would make me feel not good. No, I'm good. I'm good to go.
nice. No, huh? No, just we've had a lot of comments lately that are more of a excited, getting to know us personal. So just want to show that we are real people, that we are true geeks, and we like to
Take this.
show off what we got. I, of course,
I
have my
haven't read any of the
Superman mug.
comments on the last one.
We're starting to get more and more fans and lots of views. It's fun. I hope you guys are like sharing and commenting on all the videos out there. So let's start off um, with the latest. Is have you seen the new Superman costume and your thoughts on
I have not seen the new Superman costume, and my thoughts are: is it skin tight? Because if it's not, who wants it?
it? Um, Based on the pictures that I've seen, it looks like a really, really good costume. I'm excited about it. They have the S on the back of the cape where it should be, like it was in the initial costumes of everything. It does not look skin tight. However, I'm sure in post-production they will go ahead and make that costume more skin tight, I suppose.
He's gonna hug that superhero booty.
Exactly, exactly. My issue with fans as of late is the negative feedback constantly on anything new, no
That's all
matter
everyone
what it
does now.
is.
Hate, hate, hate.
It, it's like I'm gonna criticize the food because the chef is wearing a different hat than I want him to. So the food's gonna obviously suck.
This doesn't match
And
the thing that my imagination came up with for it. This is crap.
exactly,
Maybe you're not the target
exactly.
audience then. Like, just enjoy it. Are you entertained? No? Then stop fucking watching it. Oops, stop freaking watching it.
Oh, we can swear here. It's okay. Exactly, exactly. It's the Superman doesn't look like the Superman that's on my tattoo, so I'm going to cry about it. You
He's a
know,
fictional character, if anybody didn't know.
exactly. And what are movies? What do we keep saying movies are? They're entertainment.
Entertainment!
Exactly. That's all they are. They're just entertainment. They're a way of distracting you from life for an hour, a half an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours. whatever it
Now,
is,
it's
it's good.
okay to state your opinion on something, and if you don't like it, it's okay to talk about and debate about. It's when you're just ragging on all these stupid things about, and then you don't stop doing it, and you're like, "Oh, you're stupid for enjoying this." Like,
Right.
I like what I
Exactly.
like.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
sucks you're not having fun, but I am. Don't poop on my parade.
And don't try to purposely cancel something because you have an issue with an actor or a director or the costume doesn't look like the comic books or that's not the backstory that I wanted to hear or
Oh
did you
no, it's
yeah,
not about
exactly.
you. What will you do?
Exactly. I got into a debate last night on Facebook with somebody, not on DC Comics, but of course Star Wars.
Acolyte, right? I've been debate
Oh
after debate on that thing.
man, I have no idea when in America we've turned into this pussification of people who constantly need to cry and try and cancel and just go into these tirades of it's not what I grew up with. And it's like they defend George Lucas to a degree that you're like, I waited 19 years between episode 6 and episode 1. And in that 19 years, George Lucas sold his property to anybody who was willing to pay the penny for it and write some of the shittiest stories ever written in the Star Wars universe. And you want to
Some of
give
them
this
are
man
great, a
praise.
lot of them are awful.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. They're like, oh, there was
You
so
wanna
much
talk
in the
about no continuity.
exactly. And they, I don't know why they just like they idolize George Lucas. George Lucas didn't do shit. He didn't. He was
Whoa,
like, you
whoa,
want
whoa. We just got unfollowed by 20,000 people. I am pro George Lucas, everybody, in case you were wondering. George Lucas, great guy. Dave Filoni, great guy, because they create more things that I like. Stop hating on the Acolyte. I love the Acolyte. I am thoroughly enjoying it and always looking forward to the next episode. And if you don't like
which
it,
is
that's okay. Go watch something else. But don't
exactly
tell me I'm stupid for liking it. And then I told someone, well, I guess you're not the target audience then. Listed off his whole Star Wars pedigree of stuff he's watched. And I was like, I don't care. If you don't like it, then obviously it was not made for you. I didn't
yeah,
like the little baby Jedi show. You know why? Because I was not the target audience for it. It's
right,
okay.
right.
Everyone wanted all these different genres within the universes we love, and now they're complaining when they get a different genre that's not the same as the space opera that wouldn't happen.
Exactly. And the whole Kaimandi thing. Oh no, they ruined canon. It's their property. They can do whatever the
Uh,
fuck they want to do with it.
we also don't know that that's a Sith. You don't have to be a Sith to have a red lightsaber. You just have to have a lightsaber and bleed the crystal, which uh I did recently learn because I was dumb that it's not killing Jedi and getting their blood all over the crystal. It's putting a bunch of negative emotions in. So my brain had to do a flip there because I imagine them going through a Jedi and then all the blood got on it. Not a fact. Oh God,
No,
we are off
it,
topic. This is not a
oh, no,
Star Wars podcast
we are.
anymore.
Oh, train of thought, train of thought. Back to DC.
I always want to talk about Star Wars, so
Oh yeah, no,
problem.
same, same. Especially because it's so prevalent in culture and society today. I mean, the same people that are pro this other thing are complaining about this other thing, and it's completely hypocritical. And then the same people who are anti this thing are pro this thing, and it's and it is so hypocritical. It's like, stop trying to equate a fictional universe, which is the geek world. The geek world is a fictional universe. Everything that we watch, everything that we're exposed to, everything that we love, everything that we talk about is all takes place in something made up in somebody's mind, usually Stanley.
Ah, we're on DC, and now we've talked about Star Wars and
I know. But I'm drinking from a Superman mug and you got a Batman mug. So.
Okay, what is our next question that's on topic?
All right, that's on topic. I honestly want to talk about this a little bit. Harley Quinn, good character of relationship advice on what not to do. That should be or relationship advice on what not to do. Now, I am a huge fan of Harley Quinn. What do you think about Harley Quinn?
I freaking love Harley Quinn. Is she toxic? Yes, and then she literally fell into toxic waste. How do you not become toxic? Ah. But I loved watching how in recent stuff she's really come into herself. She's always been like this funny, sarcastic character, like Deadpool, but a girl. And I love that. I love the whole anti-hero thing and how she goes back and forth and how and a lot of this new stuff, she has good intentions, but doesn't always do them the right way. So she's like chaotic neutral, trying to be chaotic lawful, but
Right.
absolutely failing at every turn. So I and then her relationship with Poison Ivy is very entertaining. Oh, you notice how no one complains about it when it's two girls that are together, though. Harley Quinn,
Exactly.
Poison Ivy, iconic couple.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. And what I love about Harley Quinn, um, I loved her when she was introduced in Batman the Animated Series. Oh, nice. Love it.
Great.
When she was first introduced in the Batman the Animated Series back in the 90s, she was a brand new character. She was introduced in that animated series. And she was a side um, character. She wasn't a main character. And it gave the Joker, who is probably one of the most complex characters ever created. Um, they don't know what to do with him, whether to make him fully psychotic, um, you know, maniacal, or to have that Joker side of things that Mark Hamill's voice brought such amazement to. I mean, it was like this guy reached the point where he doesn't care and everything is funny. And he found somebody that actually loved him in Harley Quinn, and they went and just do crazy antics.
His new girlfriend's the Riddle. No, not the Riddler. Uh, oh gosh, I can see her in my mind.
Oh, the
Nope,
one that
can't
looks
remember
like
her
the
name.
Joker. Yeah, purple haired girl. I forget
I
too.
don't remember us. It'll just come to me at some point. Punchline.
But yeah, exactly. But when it comes down to it, the evolution of Harley Quinn showing that devotion to a maniacal psychopath, to coming into her own, to saying maybe what I'm doing is wrong, but at the same time you can be evil but do good, to being that emotional one where I don't know if you've watched the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy series on Max. I know we talked about you doing it
I
later,
want
but
to.
it's phenomenal and it's hilarious. And just if you guys have not watched it, they turn everybody gay in these series. I mean, everybody. Riddler's game.
But everybody loves everyone I've talked to is like, you have to watch it. It's so good. It's so good. So I
It's
want to.
whole.
I just don't have Max, and I haven't taken the leap and purchased a Max yet. But
I
it's the
understand.
plan.
Oh, it is so hilarious, and I mean, it's just out there, and they go to such extremes on things, and there's violence, and there's nudity, and there's grotesqueness, and there's, I mean, some of the funniest things you ever heard because it starts with Harley trying to find out who she is, and she wants to be the greatest villain, but she ends up finding herself and finding out why Harley Quinn actually, or Poison Ivy actually likes her, and then falls in love with Poison Ivy, and it's their adventures together. They're trying to build a team of bad guys, and it's just so funny. But let's switch over to Smallville, Supergirl, Birds of Prey, and other DC comic television shows.
Smallville was one of my first introductions into the DC world. Uh, I had a boyfriend at the time, and that's all we did was sit in his dorm room and watch tons of Smallville. I still have the DVDs because those came with me, I guess. But that's an amazing show, and I'm trying to get my kid to watch it, but she's a little slow on the uptake.
It it turns Clark Kent into a teenager, and when you're how do I say this? When you're reading the comic books, you don't actually see that part of Clark Kent growing up in Kansas. You already see him being Superman, so he's already gone through that whole puberty era and weird teenage emotions and trying to discover himself. But he's got superpowers where he's got to hide it and can't expose it, and everything's going on with that. But in the comic books, he's already Superman, so he's already been through that. And I know a lot of people have issues with Superman because he's too good. That's why they call him the Blue Boy Scout. But that's what I actually love about Superman. Whenever anybody asks me why do you like Superman so much, most people expect me to say because he's strongest or the fastest or the heat vision or the X-ray vision or the power slides. But ultimately, to me, Superman is an alien. So he's not from Earth. He came to Earth. He was given the power that if he wanted to, he could take over the whole planet. He could take over the whole planet and be the dictator, authoritarian ruler if he wanted to. But because who he grew up with, how he grew up, he does not do that. And he actually uses his powers for good. It takes more strength of character to do that than it would be to become a villain in that situation. And that's why I
Did
like
you read
Superman.
Injustice?
Repeat that?
Did you read Injustice?
I did. I
How
did.
did you
And
feel
played
about
the game.
Superman in that one?
That's that's a morality debate there. Um, in all honesty, I hated Superman for it, but I also understood um, why he went that way. Um, Going back to the Joker and things, I mean, the Joker figured out his weakness. It wasn't kryptonite, it was Lois Lane. And
And a
when he
baby.
is, and when he made Superman, you know, was it the Scarecrow toxic fear that he thought that he was fighting Darkseid or
Some
something?
some alien
And then,
thing.
yeah, I believe it was Darkseid, and it ended up being Lois Lane. And he found out that it was the Joker that did it. No hesitation. Superman went right up to Joker, and Batman was like, "Don't do it." Superman was like, "I'm tired of you not taking care of these villains when you had a chance." And one shot right to the gut, Joker was gone. I mean,
Joker deserved it. That's one thing that's always slightly bothered me about some of the superheroes is okay, I get not playing judge, jury, executioner, but in that universe, what judge and jury didn't sentence these people to death? Like how many people did the Joker kill? Probably more than I could count, and yet he still got to keep on living in a place that just bred more villains. Like
mhm,
we needed an anti-hero to come in and chop his head off. Instead, Superman got did it.
agreed. And the
But
funny
all he
part
asked
about
for
that
me,
is during that whole arc, to see the heroes divided on so many instances where like Robin, who Damian Wayne, was like,
mhm,
"I'm with Superman on this. Joker should have died a long time ago." Like Superman wasted no hesitation there. He just did it. I'm with Superman. Same with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was like, "Why have you let him live for so long? He absolutely deserves that. We know how people are supposed to be, and we can keep people in line. We as superheroes we can make that sure that there's no war, there's no famine, there's no all this, and they take it upon themselves. So I mean, you can see that side of it. Whether you agree with it or not is how you feel about society, I suppose.
a
Um,
military state, not about
I
it.
I'm not about military states either. Batman was right, and so was Superman in that. So it was definitely a I don't even know how to say it, but mixed
The one
emotions.
time you'll catch me on Team Batman between the two choices is Justice. I'm like, come on, guys, seriously, stop. They were both equally right and equally wrong, except for Batman was more right.
Yeah, and the video game. Did you ever play the Injustice
I did
games?
not. I'm not much of a gamer. But I do have Injustice Year 5 right now that I have not read yet.
Nice. If you ever get a chance to, just go on YouTube and watch the story arcs of the Injustice games because it brings a lot of it to fruition on there. And different endings, there's different ways. So if you play as Superman, you make it all the way through. You beat Batman in the end, and you rule over the universe. Same with the Wonder Woman, the Batman, the Supergirl story arc. They all change. Um, Speaking of Flash, what is the coolest part of the latest Flash movie?
I
Um,
honestly don't remember the latest Flash movie.
so that's the one where he goes through time to try and save his mom, and they end up creating the paradox, where
Sounds like the show to
he
me.
and a lot of it a lot like that. For me, it was bringing Michael Keaton back as Batman. That to me was the coolest thing ever on screen. Uh, I was a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan, and to see him pick up that mantle and play Batman again for me was just like yes. Now I know Ezra Miller is a piece of shit. He did a whole bunch of shitty stuff, and I don't know why actors in Hollywood get these amazing roles and go do shitty stuff. So I don't
You're
know what's
supposed
going
to
to
be
happen with them. Be better, people. Be better.
too bitter.
All right. So then we're going to switch over to the Justice League Snyder Cut.
So I never actually saw the Snyder Cut because it's so long and I can't sit still that long. But I have heard that it's freaking amazing. Or well, maybe not freaking amazing. That it's better than what we saw in the theaters, which I honestly enjoyed too. But
Yeah. It is three and a half, oh, almost 4 hours long, and it does bring a lot more to the table than what we saw in theaters. And it does show. I very highly recommend watching it just for the rebirth of Superman, that because it gives the rebirth of Superman so much more justice than what the movie actually did. Plus, you got to see Darkseid. Plus, you got to see the whole army coming through there. It's just like, okay, this is where it was supposed to be. And yes, I don't know why Hollywood has to make it where you have to fall in if you're going to make a movie between an hour and 45 minutes and 2 hours and 30 minutes, or else we're going to cut it down so we can sell more tickets.
Well, they're not wrong. I would not buy a ticket to a 3 or 4 hour movie. There's not a chance. I'm gonna have to pee like 3 times. I'll wait for it to come out and get it at my house. And even then, I still didn't watch it because it was too long. So they have to cater to people like me, who do go to see tons of things in theaters, but not when they're long. Like Dune. I won't even see the second one. I hated the first one so much. And it
Really?
was too long, and I couldn't. I wanted to walk out, but I couldn't because I got the center in an IMAX theater where I'd have to go through all these people. I was like, no, I quit. I'm not ever watching a long movie
Wow.
like this again.
So is it just the length of it or the actual
Oh
movie
no,
of
I
it that you
found it
didn't like?
obsessively. I've never wanted to walk out of a movie other than to have to go to the bathroom multiple times in my life. I've like once maybe when I was younger, but not recently. And I just wanted to leave. I did not feel like sometimes the end justifies the means, but nope. I was bored, and they're like, "Oh well, wait for the second one to come out." I was like, "Well, I need the first one to be entertaining to go watch the second one." So no, not watching it. It sucked. I hated it. I'm never watching a Dune movie again.
Okay. Here's what'll make it more fun. Did you see the new Wonka movie with Timothy Chalamet?
I have not yet because my kid watched it on the airplane, and we were supposed to watch it together, and then she watched it without me, and so now I just haven't watched it yet. And she's like, "I'll watch it again with you." I'm like, it's not the same. But yes, it's on my to watch list. I have not seen it, but I want to.
Alright. So in watching Dune, just picture the same Timothy Chalamet as Wonka in Dune. So just picture Timothy Chalamet in Dune as he's becoming Wonka. It'll be a little bit more entertaining.
Gotta do something to make it more entertaining. I will never watch that movie. I don't care what you say. I will not watch that movie again.
No,
You'd
did
have
you
to
read the
pay me to watch that movie again.
did you read the Dune books?
Before I went and saw the movie, I tried to read one of the graphic novels, and I was mm, kind of intrigued, but no, mostly not impressed. Maybe eventually I'll read the Dune books because I hear that they're really good, but I don't do well when half of something is all story building of boringness. You can make story building interesting. It doesn't have to be an entire history of the civilization. Like I'm trying now I'm rereading Lord of the Rings, starting with Hobbit.
Nice,
Well, I'm
nice.
listening to it on audiobook when I drive into town because I live like 30 minutes from town. So I'm listening to those, but for when I cuz I opened the book when I was younger, my mom gave me The Hobbit and I didn't read very far because they started talking like they were the Bible. Blank, son of blank, son of blank, son of. I was like, I don't want to read this. Quit. So I put off reading them for a very long time. But now I'm giving them a chance again because everybody loves them and I'm older. I can just skip that part.
There you go. It's
And then we can talk about
yeah, we're definitely gonna have a Lord of the Rings um, podcast show. There's a lot we could talk about there that comes into fruition for man, even the old '80s animated Lord of the Rings and Hobbit
it. I didn't
movies
know
were
there was
so
an
cool.
animated series.
Oh, cool! I'm gonna expose you to something new.
You've
So in the
seen the
'80s, there
movies,
was
but
do
that's
you know like Heavy Metal Magazine
no.
from? No, okay. I am old. I'm sorry.
My
Um,
mom also
so
was very strict with what I watched. Like, I could watch Rugrats and Lizzie McGuire. Nothing where people fought.
you're gonna have to go back and watch because there are two animated movies. One is The Lord of the Rings, and the other one is The Hobbit. And they're animated, and they're only about an hour and 15 minutes, but they're one of the coolest animated adventures, and it's Lord of the Rings. It is so fun to just watch and experience, and it's that late 80s animation style where um, it's simple yet incredible.
Hold on. I think someone's driving up my driveway.
Oh
Nope,
no.
no one's there. It's just my imagination. Someone must be driving on the road that way. You don't ever hear a lot of cars up here, so it's always like, who's that? What's happening?
Amazon.
Amazon won't drive all the way up here. They give it to USPS, and then they make me drive all the way to the freaking post office to pick it up. FedEx and UPS will drive up to my house and drop it off. And man, those big trucks fly down these dirt roads. They're wild. What else? Did we have more questions?
We
Or do
didn't
we?
have more questions. We can just go off on tangents right now and
I was
whatever
trying
we
to think.
feel we want to talk about.
So, what about the Arrowverse?
I haven't watched it.
You
Um,
didn't watch any of it?
I didn't watch any of the Arrowverse. I know I like Ollie as a character. He's kind of a alternative Batman, in a way, rich boy using his money to create um weapons to, protect people. So I mean, I don't mind it. Um, I just never really got into Ollie.
Yeah, I was in the Arrowverse because that's the Arrow, Flash, Supergirl.
Mhm, mhm.
Is it Legends of Tomorrow? The time traveling
Yep,
people.
yep. Legends of Tomorrow.
Is Legends of Tomorrow. Arrow is my least favorite of the shows. I'm not into those dark, brooding characters, but Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. Oh, Legends of Tomorrow is my favorite, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's my least favorite of them." I love time travel. I think time travel is fun, and that show was fun, and the Flash. That one was fun, but Supergirl is my second favorite, mostly because it's a strong female character. But because obviously I can relate to those a little more, but also it's just fun, and Arrowverse is just so sad or
Yeah.
mad. They're not fun. They don't have fun. They have depression all the time.
You have to. You have to have that. It makes it more real. But speaking of Supergirl, when Supergirl first came out, my oldest daughter was in middle school, and um, Melissa's aunt was one of my daughter's teachers at the middle school here in Colorado. So when she signed on to be Supergirl, and we went to parent teacher night, and she told us that, I was like, "Holy crap! How cool is that?" So
Can I
she
get your
just started
autograph
telling
now?
us. Oh, I wanted it. I wanted it bad, but she wouldn't do that to her niece. She was like, I'm like, man. Actually, there's one thing I did want to bring up. Have you checked out any of the bombshells, the
Any of the
DC
what?
bombshells? DC bombshells.
Oh, oh, yeah. Dang it! I don't have the book in here. I have one of the hardback books for the Bombshells. I love their costumes. Someone
Me
should
too.
make me one of those costumes.
Oh my God, I love the costumes in the bombshells, and uh, let's see, I've got the Wonder Woman pop figure bombshell. We've got Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman keychain bombshells. And of course, this was kind of a cool, uh, it's Supergirl, and but she's a stewardess, and it was just kind of a side one that they all did, and I just thought this was so cool of a statue. But I'm loving the bombshells. I that art from was it World War I that had the on the side of the planes um pinup art, I guess is what they call it. I love that art
Uh-huh.
and have the bombshells in it. It's so cool. Um,
Yeah, I loved their and the storyline's good too. I really enjoyed reading it, and the costumes are great. It's great when the graphics and the story are both good, and it's not just one or the other.
Agreed.
Definitely like
Absolutely
that.
agreed. Absolutely agreed. I DC to me needs to make a Bombshells animated series. That would be fun to watch because DC
I feel
animation is so much better than Marvel animation, in my opinion. They make the coolest one-shot animation ever, and I want to see DC. If you're listening, I want a Bombshells animated movie.
if you're listening.
You never know.
The whole entity.
No. All right. If some low-level DC intern is watching us and has an idea to send up to corporate management, just go to that next suggested meeting and be like, we should do a bombshell series.
I'm sure they've thought about it. They might be debating if they want to do animated or with real people. Because if they could get some famous people and put them in those costumes, they could probably sell some good merch with those too.
They probably definitely could sell some good merch with that, but then,
I
oh
need
my
them to
God,
sell those costumes.
I don't even want to know the cultural debate if that ever happens, man.
Well, they're not exactly historically accurate, but they're in the genre of that time for what women were dressing like for their military counterparts.
Agreed, agreed. And historically speaking, it was okay back then. And, the same people that are complaining about Star Wars would be on board with a DC bombshells, and the same people who are saying, um, it would just flip the scripts in so many ways and it's hypocritical on both sides. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It would just be, as we said before, it's all entertainment. Be entertained. Pay the fee, enjoy the show, walk out with a smile. And I
They
guess
could do
unless
it in
it's
a
doomed.
drive-up movie theater and offer special popcorn buckets, but only at the drive-in because that's very in time period. Well, I think. I don't actually know when drive-in theaters came out, but I feel like they were kind of dressing like that. So
Yeah, well, let's see. That's a great question. Drive-ins came in the, I'm gonna guess the 60s is when they started to come out. And their heydays were definitely in the 80s because I remember going to the drive-through or the drive-ins growing up, man. That was a great Saturday night. $5 for a whole car full of people, and you just pull in, drive in. Um, the little speakers that you hung up on your windows sucked, but the screen was
oh
huge.
yeah. Ours, they had it on a radio station that you'd put it on your car into the radio station, but then you had to leave your car on, so
So the battery was drained.
or your gas, one way or the other.
Just exposing everybody to CO2. I love it. I love it. Oh man. So,
Okay,
if
this is
anybody
kind
out
of.
there is
Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. I take it back.
okay, I completely missed it.
Oh, good, because I was thinking about Universal Studios, but that's Marvel Island. So,
Is Universal
do we
Studios
have any
Marvel?
DC amusement parks? We
It used
should.
to be it used to be Six Flags. Six Flags had
Oh yeah,
all of
because they have that Batman ride.
the Batman ride, the Superman ride, the Wonder Woman ride. When Elitch, sorry, I had a friend recently post lately. It's not called Elitch's, it's called Elitch Gardens. When
Yeah,
Elitch
Lich Gardens.
Gardens
Duh.
was bought by Six Flags many a year ago, they had
I thought
the
Six
Superman ride.
Flags sold it to a Lich Gardens.
No, it was always Elitch Gardens. Elitch Gardens has been here since 100 years, I think is what they were celebrating. And it started off as that, started off as a garden, and then they started adding rides, and it was old time over off Federal, and then they moved it downtown. And we won't go into the history of Colorado here for our viewers, but Eva's Gardens has been around for a long time, and then Six Flags bought it
Oh,
up. And,
Six Flags owned it and then sold it to Premier Parks.
oh, okay. I didn't know that. I know that.
Well, there's someone else owned it before Six Flags. Someone owned it, then sold it to Six Flags, then Six Flags was like, "Yo, this place sucks," and so they sold it to someone else.
Well, it ultimately turned into where they initially bought that downtown location was um, very inexpensive at the time because it was very ghetto. And that place started really rocking because then they brought in Coors Field and they brought in Pepsi Center, which is now Ball Arena. The light rail got there and big, huge, affluent condos started popping up and all these little shops. So it became this like your property is now worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and the owners are like, hmm, let's draw it down so we can sell it.
Like, that's making more money than we are off the park. So let's just
Exactly.
get ready. And
Basically,
it's not the most fantastic park from what I understand. It's definitely a
it,
mediocre amusement park.
it had potential. And there are a lot of spaces out, especially by the airport, that if they rebuild the park over there and had more space, they could bring in more money and bring in cooler rides. It could actually become a very cool premier place to bring new tourist attractions. And we're getting off topic again.
Completely off topic. Do we even have a topic anymore?
Not really.
Have you been to
I
Meow
think we
Wolf? Speaking of off topic,
Meow Wolf. Oh no, I haven't. How is it?
I have been to all three Meow Wolves, and they are all amazing in their own very, very different ways.
You are a very
Maybe
well
we'll do a
traveled individual.
podcast and we'll go to Meow Wolf
Okay,
and we can do
I'm
the
down.
quest. That'd be
I'm down.
fun.
I am
Meow Wolf
down.
is so expensive though. It's like $50 a person.
Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Hmm. Just keeps going up and up. You doing anything for the 4th of July?
I am going to Utah to hang out with some family who are unfortunately Mormons, so I will be sober. It's not like I have to pretend I'm Mormon, but it's just weird to drink in front of people when everyone's being sober. So I will be sober on the 4th of July. What a disappointing day.
They at least have
We're
fireworks
going to
out
go
there.
see Frozen, and the Airbnb has a lazy river, so it'll still be
A
fun.
lazy
You can
river.
have
I see.
fun and be sober, guys.
Nice.
It's just a
Very
little
nice.
less fun.
Awesome. Well, I don't know what else we can really talk about right now. And I know that,
Well, I had a child to celebrate anyways, who could be up any moment.
yeah, happy birthday
They're
to
making
your little one there.
waffles. I last night she was like, I asked her what she wanted for her meals today because on your birthday you get to choose all your meals. And she's like, for breakfast, I want sugar waffles and macaroni and cheese. Really? You want macaroni and cheese for breakfast? Is this necessary? Man. So I'm making sugar waffles for breakfast and macaroni and
Nice,
cheese.
nice, very nice.
Oh, and then I got to tell her when she went to bed last night. I was like, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Oh, donkey. I caught the reference there. Yes, I've seen Shrek.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
More of this podcast has been about not DC than it has been about DC. So I feel like it
Hey,
might be time to wrap it up.
we forgot to talk about was Aquaman.
Oh, your mic went bonkers. What was that?
Uh, we forgot to talk about Aquaman.
Ooh, I did not see the new one, but I saw the old one and it was great. I didn't see the new one though. I wasn't as motivated after all the Amber Heard stuff.
Yeah, they tried to write her out. She was very limited exposed, but the storyline wasn't that great. I mean,
What happens when you write out a main character?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, like it goes back to that whole Ezra Miller, and the guy who plays Kang. Why do these people who get these amazing roles go out and do stupid shit that ruins it so that they have to change course and then ah,
Actors are people too. Their
yes, but
mistakes are just more publicized.
yeah,
They
no
get
doubt.
canceled, and then all of our shows get messed up.
Unfortunately, yes. All right. Well, it has been a pleasure on this week of DC and uh, a multitude of other things that we talked about.
Multitude. It's the
So
multiverse.
I am absolutely enjoying the comments, the likes, the questions. I am loving that you guys are wanting to know more, are starting to ask more, are starting to give your opinions on things. You're being incredibly respectful. Um, I love it. Keep up that great work, and share us out there to all your friends. We will be back next week with another episode of Let Your Geek Flag Fly, where I haven't looked at the episode list to see what we're going to do, so we don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
Eventually, we'll do something else. Next week will be another topic that is geeky.
Exactly. We'll let our geek flag fly.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, it's always good to see you, and we will see you next week. I hope your daughter has a fantastic birthday, and see, we'll have another episode before the 4th of July. So um, maybe we'll talk about that our next episode, 4th of July.
Cool. Bye, guys.
have, have a great week.